Well, we're here at Startup Park. You know it, the former home of Wits, but still the Wits University football club. This time around, we're talking something totally different. As you know, this is part of our Hollywoodbets, far more for the fans content that will be coming with it to you on a regular basis. Interestingly, I think it was just around May when you forced me to take a video of yourself with Coach Miguel Cardoso. Just tell us more about the man, because I recall at the time when he came here with Esperance, you told me a lot about him in terms of what he's been to you and how you got to know him as well. Just tell us more about him as a football coach and just his tactical mind.
He was an easygoing person. I think he was so open in terms of sharing his ideas about the game. And also the nice thing about him, he was a passionate person. You could see he was passionate about the game. And what I got from there was that he's very astute, a very astute tactician. He's a person who loves detail. As a young football coach back then, and even now, you know, those experiences, I look back and
Which module was this?
He was basically taking us through organization in terms of the team, and he basically then looked at in terms of the last line. So in a 4-4-2, 1-4-4-2, you would look at in terms of certain coordination, sort of like of the last line of defense. So that's basically the back four. How basically the fullback will jump, or rather will protect the wide area. Who covers the fullback? Which areas he would prefer his players? Obviously, left centre back. If the ball is on the left centre back, would he be able to jump? Or the midfielder, in actual fact, where would he be included in making sure that he covers the right spaces, so that basically you are preventing the opposition team from penetrating your last line. So yeah, it was detail orientated, and he took us through obviously some videos of his teams that, as I said, as an assistant as well. So yeah, really a great football experience and cultural one.
And it's interesting because I think around that time in May, you did say that Sundowns are going to be in trouble here, because this is a very good and very tactical coach in terms of how he applies his team. And we saw, even though Sundowns dominated the game in the first leg, but the big chances in terms of goal scoring opportunities, the big chances were more with Esperance. And we remember how he did it here as well. But I also want to take you back to his press conference, and he talks about the counter-attack a lot. He talks about being very precise in tactical organization. But most importantly, he also talks about the set plays, and he talks about pressing more.
Look, I think looking at the context that he was in, Esperance, you go into a Champions League match, it's a semi-final, first leg, still have the second leg to be played. And I think in that moment, he obviously, with his technical staff, they looked at a couple of things within Sundowns. But the type of coach that I know as well, if people also, you know, want to know about this, but he took Celta Vigo. Even though, I mean, his CV, I mean, you'll see that in some teams that he took, he didn't stay there for long. But I think obviously that's football, and those are decisions made by management. But you spoke about something very important, because football is I mean, football has 4 moments, and football, all these moments, I think even now in the press conference when he did yesterday, he spoke about the team being complete and being dynamic in all moments. So I think it was very important for him, looking at the context he was in, even as Esperance, to go into a knockout game, knowing that it's 2 legs. But when it comes to South Africa against Sundowns, a superb ball-playing team that could hurt any team, he understood his limitations possibly. but also you have to think about the altitude. You have to think about maybe also some players being injured, and also him not
But
being.
also the result.
The result, playing for the result is
Yes.
important. Yeah. I think this is what I think you could also analyze of a coach who is well travelled, that he possibly understands playing for a result, and he would obviously come knowing the fact that he has to play with style at Sundowns.
This issue
Yeah.
of style is coming back, and this is a Sundowns team that wants to win the Champions League.
Yeah.
And already I think his predecessor, Coach Mangoba, has already been talking away from the issue of style, and even in his approach, it was not really expansive on the ball.
Yeah.
They're using a lot of width, they're using a lot of pace as well. How do you balance here? Because now, judging by some comments, especially from people who are following Sundowns, I think from how they've seen Coach Cardoso in terms of how he applies his team tactically, they're already thinking that the days of shining piano are history.
Nah, I would disagree with that. Yeah, I would hugely disagree with that. As I said, when I make reference of the teams that he coached and that he was part of, the Shakhtar Donetsk under-19 team, even though people can say, of course, it's a youth team, but the Youth Champions League has got it's very high in terms of the standard. But Shakhtar Donetsk was a team that dominated the Ukraine in terms of league for good ball playing, and even their scouting was more on, obviously they were specific on the type of players.
Shakhtar Donetsk always has got a lot of Brazilians.
That's it. So I think he did make mention of the fact that not even now, but even when he did the press conference, the fact that they studied Sundowns. So I think he's one coach that can easily get into a team that is ball playing like Sundowns, that wants to achieve in terms of the successes of the Champions League, and he will easily assimilate. Because I think also a few details that he'll also look at is he's coming in, already he has to play Raja on Sunday at 3 p.m. And he won't change too many things right now because he doesn't have that window of basically putting down his ideas to be very solid. So I think he will analyze the players that he has, analyze what has happened in the past few regime with Coach Mangoba and Coach Rulani as well, and even Coach Pitso as well, because that era now obviously is gone. But he's a coach that can easily adapt to these situations. And I think the more he wins, the more the style conversation, it won't get put away, but he will get more respect, because what a team like Sundowns need to do is obviously the most important thing is win. Yeah. And it's quite clear. But I think he will win with the Sundowns way.
Coach Cardoso, because he's coming in there, Thando, there's a tactical and mindset shift. Because the layer that was brought in by Coach Pitso in 2012, working with Rulani, with Coach Mangoba from 2014.
Yes.
I mean, even the removal of someone like Wendell Robinson, who was very much part of the fiber of the tactical approach of the Sundowns. What does that tactical shift from the template that Coach Pitso, working with Rulani, Coach Mangoba, now Robinson also leaving? What does this mean, and what can be anticipated from this?
Obviously, it's quite unfortunate that South African coaches have been obviously let go. I mean, as a South African, I look at that and I say, you know what? But football being football, I think Sundowns are where they're at. They're not just a South African team that competes here. You know, they're internationally renowned. You know, they're going to the Club World Cup and they have to go compete there. So I think even the management looks at everything in terms of even the appointment of Coach Cardoso to say which is the next coach that can take us to the next level. As I highlighted before, with the limited time that he has to integrate his ideas, I don't see too much of a change with regards to maybe now a Sundowns team that gets to play a lot of direct balls in order, I mean, even the profile of the players that they have. So it won't change too much. It will probably be tweaked around certain moments of the game in terms of the spaces available on the field, which opponent are you playing, where are they weak. So there will be a deep analysis on the opposition. also deep analysis of the players that he has, which can obviously unlock certain moments.
And it's got the squad to achieve that.
Yes. As much as there is a move away in terms of obviously the era that was very successful under Coach Pitso, but I see that there will be a continuation with maybe a tactical approach as well. As I said, limited time, any coach understands that you can't get in a club setup and want to change things overnight. So you have to continue with what is possibly comfortable and make sure that you reach your objectives. So I see a Sundowns team that's still going to dominate, and maybe even looking at I think we undermine the Sundowns players. These are professionals. These are professionals.
No, because that's what I want to say. Like, for instance, when people were saying, no, Sundowns is achieving for us at the AFCON, I was like, we are here with the Sundowns team.
Yes.
And we watch Coach Hugo coaching the Sundowns players differently.
Yes.
And if there's one credit I must give is for how the players are well coached at Sundowns, that they're able to adapt.
Yes.
And because the football the players were playing at Sundowns and at Bafana is totally different.
100%.
You know, and
100%.
Also, if you look, in as much as yes, they were working together. But the football that was played under Coach Pitso, under Coach Rulani, and under Coach Mangoba, slightly different.
Yes. Look, I think we have to give credit to the players because at the end of the day, they're the protagonists. They're the ones who have to apply the coach's ideas, but also the assignment at hand. Because I think it's quite clear now that going to the Sunday game, they have to win at home. So I think the players understand this, and being professionals, and also understanding that in one moment the Sundowns players, together with all other players in the Bafana squad, they obviously took it upon themselves as players to say, we want South Africa to achieve at the continental level. And so going into that, I think, you know, even tactics aside, it also comes down to the team development process. Like, how are these teams getting, players getting along with each other? Because at times, the division of the team, no matter how well coached they are, that's the most important part, I think, with regards to developing a team. There's certain personalities that a Coach Hugo would bring in a Bafana setup that would not only play well, but also keep harmony in terms of the dressing room as well. Because I think Coach Hugo was quite clear with the type of players he needed, hard workers, you know, and also he must be giving credit, because he also changed a bit, and at one point Temazwane was not in the squad, and then he went back, realizing, of course,
only fools don't change their mind.
Exactly. So I think going into a team like Sundowns, it will be a few tweaks here and there, but I think the dominance will still be there.
There's another crucial decision that was made there, and we didn't see this when Chiefs was making their tactical their changes. The leadership at Sundowns has left Coach Steve Khombela and Coach Kennedy Mwene in this technical team. And so they are part of, I think there's about 6 of them in that technical team now, in terms of the coaching staff. How important was this? And I was listening to what Coach Cardoso was also saying, that he wants to hit the ground running. So having someone like Coach Steve and Coach Kennedy, it helps him. Yeah,
this is very important. Also, it's a wisdom. Wisdom must be commended because if you have an overhaul, it's the same thing. Even with a squad overhaul of a team, you need to keep possibly the players, that's one. But in this regard is obviously technical staff. And the technical staff come in very handy because they are locals. They are people that can possibly tell the new head coach in terms of some secrets or some knowledge, insights that won't be, you can't read about those things in social media, or you can't read about those things in daily tabloids, whatever the case may be. Also, in terms of looking at each player's strength, I mean, this is where both coaches will come in handy. Also adding the fact that there's a massive analysis department that's still there. You know, so I think this is very important for him
and that's what it said, that he's not changing anything.
Yes. I think it's wise because if he wants to hit the ground running, he needs a lot of information that to be fed to him, and then over time he can make the crucial decisions. Because I think coming into even the preparation of the Sunday game, it's very crucial that he understands not only the opposition, Raja, but the strengths and weaknesses of his own team.
And this is the club with the best technical structures in the country, to be honest.
Exactly. So to dismantle that, would be shooting yourself in the foot. So I think it was very wise of the management and Coach Cardoso as well to keep certain technical members like Coach Steve. And I mean, if we talk about Coach Steve and what he's achieved in the game as well, you know, to throw away someone like that, you know, would be very unwise. Yeah, so I think very, very wise. It will help him just to also integrate himself into ideas of the team.
Well, thanks so much, Tito. Thanks for the interview. Great one. A technocrat, yeah, one of the next best coaches this country will say has ever produced. Thando Zulu, Makebalo, doing very well. He's reawakening the sleeping giant. These were the words that Coach Pizzo were reverberating around Clorcop back in 2012 when he joined that club. He said, I'm reawakening the sleeping giant, and Thando Zulu is doing that here, but also giving us insight into the inner workings and how brilliant is the coaching expertise of the Mamelodi Sundowns newly appointed coach, Coach Miguel Cardoso. For that, this is far more for the fans coming from the Hollywoodbets side in terms of the content that we'll be providing for you